So, when you look around you, mostly you just see weeds, right? And weeds, as we know, or conditioned to know, is a pest. So most times it's called onkruidmis. So you pull it out because it just grows everywhere. It grows like crazy, whether it's like you just can't stop it, whether it's in the street, alongside your house, they just invade everywhere. But weeds are actually so much more beneficial than you think. Weeds have a lot of medicinal and nutritional value. And so today we are going to talk mainly to weeds because that is what is around us. Like I said inside, the aim is to identify what is around you and repurpose it into something that can actually be sustainable for you and your family, whichever way you want to work it. Whether you want to start a business from it or just start using it, in your house as maybe you want to use it instead of dishwashing liquid. Maybe you want to use it instead of like to replace your food budget. Whatever usage you find for it. The aim is to educate yourself around how you can repurpose these things that are readily available and are all around you. So also, don't just throw things away without understanding its actual value, because they can be gold for you. You can actually start a business that you didn't realize. At our previous one, we made gozlimi, which is a flatbread, and we put edible weeds in them. And that can be an exotic type of toasty that you then sell and make money from. So it's about thinking outside of the box. You can also maybe make salt. So you dry the leaves out, and then depending on which weed it is, you dry the leaves out and you mix it with some coarse salt, and there you go, you have an exotic salt. So there's lots of treasures all around you. It's called green gold that we don't realize and that we can actually use to amazing purposes. So around us, what is mainly around is called chickweed. So there's no flowers here, but I think further on there's some flowers. But this is mainly how chickweed looks. So chickweed has like a small little leaf that is sort of oval, but it's conical. And chickweed actually has amazing medicinal properties. So you can use it for eczema, for cuts, burns, bites, anything like that. If you get a sting while you're in the garden or outside, all you need to do is just crush some up and you put it on there. First rub it and you keep it on there. It will then draw out the sting, the venom of the sting, and so forth. You can make it into creams. You can dry it out and use the powder, put it into creams, put it into even just olive oil or coconut oil. If you don't have any of that, you can just use your normal fish oil, any type of thing that's like a carrier that can then turn into like a cream that you can then use for those medicinal purposes. You can also use chickweed for stomach issues and for sore throats. So it helps with respiratory issues, for sore throats, especially if you're hoarse. That can be used for that. And then, but mainly topical is a great thing. You can also eat it, like maybe in salads. You can saute it with onions. It is up to you how you want to use it in soups as well. Wherever you use green things in food, you can replace it with that also.
Sorry, can I ask you a question? What you put one or two and toss it around and
These ones are not nice. So lots of people confuse it with dandelions. Dandelions has amazing medicinal properties, but so does this. Sow thistle is especially known for its liver function and detoxification properties. So if you make a tea from this, you can actually help detox your liver or whatever liver issues you might have. The leaves are edible. There's lots of nutrients and vitamins in them. The flowers are edible. They also help in the garden by attracting aphids. So they are good to have growing in your garden as well. The leaves, the stems, the flowers are all edible. So you can use it in whichever way you want to. Like I mentioned before, when you are using green leaves from the garden or wherever, you can replace it for like what you use for spinach or whatever, lettuce or anything leafy. That's what you can supplement and replace it with. This is also rich in vitamin C and I think magnesium as well. So it's a very good plant. People also really pull this out a lot, but liver detox is the main function of this plant, which is really good. But don't confuse it with dandelions. It has the same look because they all have these yellow flowers and they have this type of leaf, but the leaves are slightly different. I don't see any dandelions around here, so I can show you what the difference is, but these leaves are more tapered and jaggedly edged. Whereas dandelion, yes, it's the same. Whereas dandelion it's more like that.
Is that plantain leaf?
Leaves are normally at the base, whereas with sow thistle they actually come up more. Dandelion's leaf looks more like this compared to sow thistle's leaf. Dandelion is really an amazing plant. You can eat every single part of it. The roots especially you can dry out and make into a coffee replacement, a healthy coffee alternative. If you go to health shops, you'll find dandelion coffee. It's very expensive, but you can do it yourself if you want to. The leaves, very rich in nutrients and vitamins. It is also a liver and kidney detoxer, so you can use that to detoxify as well. Dandelions can also be used topically for eczema, cuts, rashes, those types of things. So dandelion is one of those miracle plants because it's so good for a host of different things. You can use it in salads, in any types of foods where there's greenery. You can make cocktails from the flowers as well. You can even make dandelion honey. And how you do that is you take the flowers, you soak it in some either honey or sugar depending on what you have, and you let it stand for a while until it makes like a viscous liquid, and there you have your honey. Cocktails you can also make from it. It depends on how you want to make your cocktail, but there are so many uses for dandelion. But it's especially good for eczema, it's especially good for psoriasis, it's especially good for cuts. So if you want healing of any sort, dandelion is something good that you can use. You can make it into a cream as well. Creams you can make, you don't have to be, go over the top with creams like normal creams. All you can do is use a carrier oil, whatever you have. If you have olive oil, that is the best. Coconut oil as well is really good, but if you don't have that, fish oil is also permissible, because you just need an oil that will sort of draw out the extracts in here, and then once it's sort of mixed, you let it stand for 6 weeks in the dark. Otherwise, if you want to use it much quicker, you then boil it for a few hours, 4 to 6 hours. You boil it in the oil, so then that also is a quick extraction process, and you let it cool and you let it stand for 1 or 2 days, because you want to get as much as the nutrient value out of this and the extracts as possible. This also shows that in the soil, the soil is actually really nutritious, but what sow thistle does is it fixes nitrogen into the soil. So wherever there is nitrogen, it basically pulls it towards the soil to enrich the soil so that the soil can be more fertile and give more nutrients to whatever it is you are planting. So it is a nitrogen fixer. This is called malva. Okay, you get many different versions of malva. You get a tree, you get this one, you get others as well.
Same as a flower.
Yes, they all flower actually, but these don't flower as much as the others. But the others are more in the tree form. Malva, funny story about Malva is, this is where marshmallows actually originated. It is known as a mucilage plant, which means that it causes a lot of thickness and like a mucousy type of thing when you are boiling it. So what that helps with is decongesting and drawing out the mucus in your chest. But more importantly, it also has antibiotic properties and helps soothe the throat. So in the early 1900s, children obviously couldn't take the medicine because of their age, and it was difficult to get children to take medicine, even today. And so what they did was they boiled this, and what came out of what was boiled was like a sticky, gooey, thick mucilage thing. And they just added maybe some honey or something just to sweeten it a bit. And that is where marshmallows were born. They then gave the marshmallows to the children to eat because it tasted nice, but more importantly to fight the infection in their throat and act as sort of, for the chest to draw out the mucus and that type of thing. So that's where marshmallows actually came from. It was originally a medicine. So you can make your own marshmallows if you want to. It's a bit of a process, but it is doable.
Don't be sweet.
This actually has like a rose or a lemony taste to it, depending. So you can use it in desserts as well. But it also has lots of nutrient value. It's also good for your gut. So for your microbiome, your stomach, if you have gut issues and so forth, the mucilage helps line the gut lining. It helps build your gut flora. So it's very good for gut issues. And as you know, in your gut, that is where a lot of your hormones are made. For example, the serotonin, which is your happy hormone. Majority of it is made in your gut, and then it's transported to the brain and activated when you do things that make you happy or whatever the case may be. So gut health is also where your immune system is boosted or built, basically. So to eat things that is good for your gut is really important for your overall health because it boosts your immunity. But also when you have good microbiomes in your gut, it does away with a lot of illnesses, a lot of diseases, and stomach issues as well. So Malva is really good. Back in the day, they also used it for ear pain. Sometimes they used to put it on the ear like this, or maybe if you crush it or something, the juice that is extracted, you can put that in the ear. So these are also ancient remedies that were used. Okay, so the next one is, this is called amaranth. This is an ancient grain. Amaranth. A-M-A-R-A, amaranth, N-T-H-A, amaranth, okay? So you can actually get it in health shops or wherever, amaranth grain or amaranth flour. So yes, there are different variations of it. The ones that they use on a big scale for flowering, for flour and so forth, has the red as you suggested, but this is the one that grows as a weed. But it can be used for the same thing. You obviously just need a lot more for that. Now, this is also known as a poor man's spinach. It's also known as pigweed because lots of pigs like to eat this. So they have a very pointy, serrated shape. It's packed with nutrients and minerals. It actually has a lot more nutrients and minerals than actual spinach does. And these bolletjes, this is what you dry out, and you can make flour from that. These bolletjes you can also pop as popcorn once you dry it out. So when there's food scarcity, you can make flour from this. You can put this, use this instead of spinach or leafy vegetables in your food, your soups. You can fry it, saute it, whatever you want to. You can eat it as is in salads. It's very nutritious. It has a lot of medicinal properties as well. It's anti-inflammatory. It is antioxidant. It's got vitamin E, vitamin K, vitamin A. So there's a lot of minerals and nutrients in here that your body needs that you can just pick for free and eat. So as you can see, there's a whole treasure chest around you that you can supplement into your diet or start a business from it. However you're thinking out of the box to use it, that is what you can do. As you know, most people are on a health buzz now because health is wealth. So when you push this type of foods to restore health, to assist medicinally and so forth, already that's a plus for you. So there are lots of different avenues that you can actually go down to start a business. You just need to think of what are the properties, what does it do, how can I repurpose it, and that's what these interventions are all about. So this is amaranth.
So,
Use it maybe on the edges of your garden because a lot of them also help with insects. So like the sow thistle and so forth, they help ward off insects. A lot of them help nutrify the soil. So they bring oxygen, they bring nitrogen, they bring lots of nutrients to the soil that is needed to actually build the soil health and to bring nutrients to your vegetables. This doesn't have a lot of nutritional value, but these little things here you can actually dry out and use as, once they grow bigger, you can actually use it as, dry it out and use it as flour. Okay, so but it will take a while to accumulate, but that's what you actually can do. The bacillus, also known as wood sorrel, but we know it as syrinx, right? So when we were younger, we always used to say the cats and the dogs pee on it. That's why it has that soury taste, and you would eat it for that taste. But it is actually the oxalic acid that is in here that gives that lemony flavor. So this is an amazing plant. It is very, very rich in vitamin C. And back in the day, on ships and so forth, they actually used to grow this because the sailors used to get scurvy a lot. And scurvy is like shingles. So this is the only thing that would help with the scurvy. And you can use it for shingles. So there's a lot of topical medicinal properties. It also has a lot of nutrients in here as well. But vitamin C is the main nutrient. So you can use this for eczema, psoriasis, bites. It also has collagen in it with it, so it also plumps up the skin as well.
is it as a salve or to eat it like that?
You can eat it just like that. You can make a salve. You can use it in salad. Wood sorrel or oxalis. Yeah, maybe it's only a nitrogen fixer. Now you need something that will bring in the potassium and all of that stuff. So these different types of plants will give you an idea of how your soil health actually is and what you need to actually boost besides what is there. So apart from that, lots of medicinal and culinary properties.
Yeah, but then next to it, so
Sure, speak to Bruce about that. We did our foraging outside. Now I just want to speak a little about foraging before we go into our urban survival section. So foraging must always be done sustainably, okay? Because you want to preserve the ecosystem and its environment as well. Because the ecosystem doesn't only consist of the plants, but it's also the animals, the soil, the air, and everything around it, and us as well, because we all play a part in the ecosystem. So when you go and do foraging, you need to do it the right way. You need to know which plants you are looking for, because you need to identify it 100% correctly. Because if you don't, you can be poisoned. So always understand and know the type of plants you are busy with. Like when we went through that, a lot of it was just weeds. And in between you have to look for the ones that are medicinal and have culinary value. So first thing is very important to understand and identify what types of plants you are looking for. Secondly, when you forage, it is best to do it early morning because the nutrient value is very high early in the morning. The higher the altitude, the better, because that also enhances the active ingredients in the plant itself. So it's also at its, like the higher you go, the more intense the actives are. So that's why you find a lot of herbalists and Rastafarians and those types of people, they go into the mountains to collect their herbs. Because the higher the altitude, the better, and they always go early in the morning. So it's sunrise and the dew time, when there's lots of dew around, that is also a factor that plays on the potency of the actual herb or plant that you are foraging. Now, mindfulness is very important. When you forage, try to look for where there's a lot of it, okay? And when there's a lot of it, then you start on the outside by picking sporadically. Don't pick in clumps, don't pick a lot. Then you move towards the circle. Don't pick baby leaves, try to pick the more mature leaves. They have more potency, but also you want the others to grow. Because if you're going to pick them at the infancy stage, they are not going to be, they can't grow to produce more, basically. So it's very important to understand how you are picking, when you are picking, and why you are picking. So like I said, lots of mindfulness needs to go into it, and lots of exotic dishes can come from it, apart from its herbal medicinal value. Now, when you are unsure of how a plant is going to react to your body, always try to do a taste or a skin test. And how you will do that is you take a piece of the leaf and you rub it on your skin and you wait about 10 minutes. If there's no redness or reaction or anything like that, then you know, okay, you're not allergic to it, so it should be fine. The next step is doing a taste test. So first you rub it on your lips. If there's no tingling or anything, that's fine. Then you take a small piece and you eat it. If there's again no tingling or swelling inside or anything like that, then that's fine.
Except for the meat.
Yes, picking it would be a problem also. And it's a pity we didn't have nettle today because it's an amazing plant with lots of medicinal and culinary value as well. So those are the types of things. If you're unsure, if you're in a survival situation, most times you don't know what is edible and you need to use it either for medicine or to survive. Those are the types of tests that you do. If it's something you completely don't understand and there's nothing to figure out, wait at least 5 to 8 hours after eating it to see that it doesn't cause any reactions when ingested. Because like food poisoning, it only happens later. So you need to give it a few hours to work through your system to see how it is. Then you can use it. Also, most plants, if you're unsure, then just boil it. That deactivates anything that might be harmful to you, just for sustenance. So it is always important to understand which plants you're eating, but like I said, in a survival situation, those are the types of things that you would do. Now outside in front, we didn't see it at the back, but in front there are pine trees and date palm trees. Now I just want to speak about that in the door. Pine trees are really amazing. I know in South Africa we look at them as invasive species, but they can save your life. They have a lot of medicinal value and they have a lot of culinary value. You can eat every single part of the pine tree. The pine cone and it's very expensive also if you want to buy it because of its nutritional value. The pine cone itself has electricity in it. So if you want to test it one day, you take a USB cable and you push it to the core of the pine and you try and charge your phone. You'll see there's some form of current that comes through so that you can also use in emergency situations. Pine cones also tell you what the weather's like. So if it's cloudy or rainy, they close. If it's sunny, they open up. So if you're not sure what the weather's going to be, also look at the pine cone. It will tell you what it's going to be for the day. So these are quirky little things that you can use. The bark of the pine tree can be dried out and then ground into flour. Pine tree flour is very sought after type of flour, and it's also very expensive. It's got a lot of nutritional value as well. They make amazing cookies. The leaves of the pine tree. Different types of slightly different medicinal value, but the normal leaf of the pine tree has amazing properties. It's extremely rich in vitamin C. Now, on the pine leaves and on a lot of fruit, it is natural yeast. And that yeast, when you combine it with sugar, makes a fermented something. So, one of the things you can do is you can collect pine needles, and you can add water and you can add sugar to it and let it stand for 3 days. This will then produce a pine needle soda that tastes like Sprite. But it is very medicinal. Firstly, for your gut, anything fermented is a probiotic, which is extremely helpful for your gut. It helps your body also break down certain foods easier as well, and it builds your microbiome. So as I mentioned, outside your gut health is your happy hormones are made, and your immune system basically is built in your gut.
The needles and the leaves.
The needles are the leaves.
But I think it has leaves beside the leaves.
Now the leaf is the leaf.
So what do you want it?
So the one thing is making a pine needle soda. The other thing is you can then make a tea from it. There's a lot of medicinal value. It's very rich in vitamin C, as I mentioned, and lots of other minerals and nutrients. So it helps with respiratory problems. So when you are drinking, for example, the pine needle soda, it actually helps with your respiratory tract infection, or if you have a lot of phlegm on your chest, or if you have a very bad cough. My uncle had a very bad cough. I gave him some pine needle soda and his cough stopped like that same day. So it brings up a lot of the mucus and it also then helps fight the cough. So that can be used as well as for the gut health.
You can get the pine needle trees in the other town.
In the long run,
Yes, in the long run, it's okay. And it's still time for the folk. I don't think it out in villages to pick it in the fire in the field. So you can get places like you said about the pine needles.
Yes. So there's lots of different things that you can use on the pine tree in the different stages. If you're using the small cones before they are actual big cones, they're like small little thingies that you can actually pickle, you can make into jams, you can make into all sorts of medicinal things. There's also pine pollen, which is really good for male hormones, testosterone booster, male fertility, health, and so forth. But apart from that, it's also a big immune booster. So if you just shake the pine tree with those small little things on, which is normally in spring, you see those small little brown pieces. That is where the pine pollen is, and that's where the magic is. So you just shake it, and you can do amazing things with that.
I noticed on the pine tree bark and all, there's always blues liquid coming out there. Can you use that as a glue?
It was used as a glue, but the reason of thyme is also very medicinal. You just have to be a bit careful because sometimes air pollution can, alter what is in there because it's first grey and then it hardens and so fast. So just be very careful, but oftentimes resin is exported. And frankincense, it's made into little balls, it's used in fragrances, it's used for lots of different things they use thyme resin for. It's a very expensive commodity. You can also use it as a fire lighter if you are in an emergency situation. So the pine resin is also really great. You can make a salve from the pine needles, and this salve basically stitches your skin back together. So if you're in an emergency situation and you have a big cut or something that requires stitches, actually, pine salve will glue your skin back together. The only thing with that is you need to ensure that it's very clean because once it's glued back together, it can't pop. And then it heals it very quickly. So if there's bacteria or anything that is stuck in the skin that you didn't clean properly, it then becomes infected and will be very difficult to get out, and because you will have to cut the skin open again in order to clean it out, and lots of problems can come from that. You can get septicemia, which is your blood being poisoned, all these types of things depending on where the cut is. Very dangerous, but very, very helpful also. So you need to know your stuff when you are doing this type of thing.
And for open source?
No, it glues the skin back together basically. But it does, if it's in a cream format or something, it does help with like sores and stuff, but it's more for closing up and healing wound healing. A lot of that, like scars and things like that, helps with that.
Cindy, can I ask a question, please? All the information that you're giving us today, I know that for most of the people it might be important life for you. But for me, it's not, it's something new. So all the information that you're giving us now, we're going to be able to
But also we are recording this and you can look for it on YouTube. Just Google my name and today's whole event will be there. If you just want the information very quickly. I know somebody did ask if we can have a little booklet or something. I'll check with Bruce about what we can do around that. So, palm trees. We all grew up with these palm trees that are everywhere. The dates are very, very medicinal. They are a great sugar replacement. They have a very low glycemic index, so they are very good for diabetes. Because they have a low glycemic index, that means they release energy over a long period of time. So that is why it's used especially for when fasting is happening, to sustain you through the day, to give you energy through the day. So that's really important. They have lots of nutrient value. They have fiber, they have lots of vitamins, magnesium and antioxidant properties. The date seed can be dried up and ground into a coffee. So that is also a coffee replacement for caffeine. Also has a really nice taste, especially depending on the type of tree. Obviously it will differ in flavor. But you also find at health shops when you buy or looking for date coffee, it is also very expensive. So you can make your own coffee alternative, and then the fruit itself, you can dry it out and make your own sugar, or you can make it into a paste, so you can have like your own honey type of thing that you replace your sugar with in your teas or whatever you are making food-wise, desserts or whatever. It is the diabetic's best friend in terms of sugar because it has that taste, but it doesn't have the effect. So date syrup, is very, very good. Yes, it's sweet because it's a natural sugar, but it doesn't have the type of sugar that cane sugar, for example, has. There are different types of sugars that you get. So this type of sugar is a natural sugar, and it has a low glycemic index, which means it is good for diabetes. Definitely. Yeah, because that is also good for muscle health because of the magnesium in it. So yes, very good. Okay, so now we are at the urban survival section. Urban survival basically is helping you identify what is around you to survive. So it is also repurposing things that you really throw away to actually have value for you and what you do. And it's also bringing old traditional practices back to life. We are experiencing a lot of issues in South Africa, especially around energy, for example. A lot of these things are clever ways to circumvent energy issues, so to say. So today what we are making is, we are making a camp stove or cardboard oven, basically, and we are making flatbread, different types of flatbread. We're making one with lentils, and we are making one with flour. So these concepts that we are showing today is to show you that you can do a lot with just a little, with a bare minimum. And like I said, it is using what you have to do something that will actually bring you money if you want to start a business from it. So it is thinking outside of the box, being sustainable while repurposing and being regenerative at the same time. So for the cardboard stove, what you need first is fire lighters. So what you can use is your old tuna tins. Keep them, you can use them as a fire lighter, and what you will do is you take strips of cardboard, you will then roll it up and put it on the inside of the tin. Okay? After that, old oil. Keep your old oil. You can make candles of old oil, but basically for something like this, cooking oil. So you would pour the cooking oil all over the cardboard, drench it in the cooking oil. So I'm just looking at that. And then you light it. It will take a while. What you can also use to light is your old nail polish swabs, so to say. So those that you're going to throw away, you can use it as is. You can drench it with water. You can drench it in oil, or you can throw a little, because there's acetone in it, which is, or you can throw some melted candle wax over it as a fire lighter. So let me just maybe start that as a fire lighter. What you can also use is your normal Vaseline. You can also just rub the Vaseline around your little holes, and then You put that in there just to get the fire started. As well as a motor today. But anyway, that's how you start fire like this. Then we are going to talk about the stove. Get the cardboard box. Okay? You can recut or shape the cardboard box to how you want it to look. What you need to make sure is that it has a flap that can open and close, and that is enough space to put your dish in. The whole entire cardboard box must be covered by foil, because firstly, the heat needs to be spread out in the entire area on the inside to actually bake the thing, but also you want to protect the actual cardboard itself because it can ignite, or it can only be used once or twice. But this you actually want to use for over and over again. So it is user friendly, it's eco friendly, it's portable, and it's a good way to minimize your electricity bill as well, and can be used on the go, so you can take it wherever you want. Sorry, it smells. Okay, so in here, basically, make sure that it's not directly on a flammable surface. So either get a metal base or outside on the ground. Normally you would use this for camping, but you can use it at home as well. Put it on bricks or something. Tins, fill it with, it can be cool drink cans, it can be bean tins or whatever. Put some sand in it just to stabilize it so it doesn't move. That goes in there, and then fire lighters, as we showed earlier, that needs to go in there as well. You can use any type of fire lighters, you can use coal as well. It's up to you what you want to do, but there's various ways to skin a cat, and so this is how we do this today. I just want to light this because it was already pre-worked, just to get the fire going. You know what's wrong today? Yesterday was
Is that to heat up?
yes, we're making a fire.
Another, if you put too much of that, the base and stuff going to be heat up.
I will show you.
You put some in the top.
Okay, so that's busy heating up right now. We're going to close that. The lentils, and this is flat bread from the flour. So all you do is you add a cup of flour, you add a cup of water, a quarter cup of water, you add some salt, and then you make a little mixture. You can add other things if you want to, but those are the basic steps for that.
What kind of flour?
Any kind of flour, but preferably whole wheat flour, but it is up to you. You then take small pieces, you roll it out or push it out so that it looks like this. Sorry, there's going to be smoke because of the oil. And then we put that in there. And then these are going to be cooking.
There's people living on the street, then river streets,
Okay,
people
so-
living on the street.
So lentils, red lentils, you soak it for 4 to 6 Then you drain it and then you add a cup of water to it. You can then also add some salt. I put just like 3 teaspoons of yogurt in, just for some variance, but that is basically how you make it, and then you use a blender or a hand blender.
But you say brown.
So as you can see, it's already starting to cook. Right? Just be careful so you don't burn yourself. And then, because it's oil that you are using, the way to put it out is you need to make sure there's no oxygen. So let's put that one.
It's going to die if we get too much.
Okay, that one is out. And that basically is how you make your oven. You can either use the flat bread, you can use it as a tortilla or roti, whatever. You can make it thicker if you want, it's up to you. This you can also use in whichever way you want to. The pesto we made from the nasturtiums. Nasturtiums has a lot of medicinal properties. It's got a lot of other values as well. It's a good protein source, and it has a lot of fiber. But what's most important is that it is antimicrobial, so it helps with almost any type of sickness or any bug, bacteria, anything like that. It also helps with cuts and wounds, so it's used topically for whatever your issues are. Most importantly, it is an antibiotic. So when you don't have antibiotics, make a tea from this, use it as an antibiotic. So in here, I put mainly nasturtiums, put 1 to 2 cups, it depends on what you want to put in them. I also then put lettuce that was growing in my garden, some celery, I put some, this is broccoli stalks. I grated it up and I also put that in here. This has also got a lot of nutritional value. Oregano is also a very strong antibiotic. We normally use it as a herb. Sorry about the smoke. We normally use it as a herb and for flavor, but it is actually stronger than your normal antibiotics. So if you also have, so you can use either one. If you also have a cold, flu, whatever the case may be, make a tea from this. I use it for, I don't go to the doctor, I just do natural remedies. I use this for any type of sick, well, I don't do just sick. Oregano has very strong antibiotic properties. I had a toxic spider bite also. I just used oregano as my antibiotic. And then I put wild garlic in, also from my garden. Thyme, wild garlic can also be used for its garlic flavor. It's not as potent as normal garlic, but it has a hint. Thyme is very good for respiratory problems and sinuses. So if you feel you're getting a chest infection or something, just chew on some thyme. If you're having some nasal issues, chew on some thyme, it will clear it up. We put a little bit of rosemary and some lemon in. For taste, we use some seeds. This is pumpkin seeds and bird seeds. And we mix all of it, and we put some garlic in. We mix all of it up in a blender, and this is the pesto. Now, nasturtiums has a very peppery taste, so it has a nice, different, exotic flavor to it. And that's basically how you can make a meal from your garden and just repurpose your
Can we taste it?
things.